start with that. And we edit, so
Yeah.
I edit, and then the person that. Right. That's what we're thinking. So, Mr. Taylor, again, the purpose of wearing the mitt is to encourage you to use your left hand as much as possible throughout the day.
Right.
During this period of time, we're going to be doing the constraint-induced therapy. So when you think about your day and the times that you'd be wearing the mitt, is there any time that would cause you any kind of concern about wearing it?
Well, I was just playing with it a minute ago, and the one thing that would concern me on my walker, where I use two hands, and that's where I get my stability and confidence to walk. I'd be afraid. I really would be afraid to have this mitt on when I'm walking. So that's one thing that came to mind. Or going downstairs, which is really can be frightening if you're not confident that you can grasp and hold things. So anyway, stairs might be something I would worry about, and then things, simple things like eating. I'm not real. I mean, if I put peas on a fork, they're not staying on that fork to my mouth, or a spoon even. So eating is a little bit of a problem. And I'll tell you another one is some silly things like when I brush my teeth. Working the cap on the toothpaste can be.
Because maybe it takes two hands.
Yeah, it takes two hands because you want to hold something. So I suppose I can hold it in here and still work with my left, which is fine.
Those are really great points. And part of what we're going to work on now is developing a behavior contract. So that allows us to go through your day and identify the times that would be that you agreed to wear the mitt, and the times that you agreed that you wouldn't, and maybe times that you might need your care partner to help out. So you've done a great job pointing out one of the biggest concerns we have relates around safety and balance. So with regards to walking, for you, since you're using a walker now, then it's a great point. We wouldn't have you wear the mitt when you walk. Typically, for everyone, we always have you take the mitt off when you sleep. Obviously, when you, any type of water-based activities like toileting or showering, doing stairs, and driving. So no matter what your capabilities are, because sometimes when people are able to walk without an assistive device, then it's safe for them to wear the mitt at home. And it just really depends on how the agreement with the person and the therapist and how their balance is with regards to walking. But always everybody takes it off for driving, stairs, walking in the community, and bathing and toileting and sleep.
Okay, makes sense.
So you brought up one point about the toothpaste. It is hard. It's a two-handed task to take the cap off. So in that situation, we have another category of where maybe you could wear the mitt but have help from your care partner, because that's one of the challenging pieces of this whole period of time and during the constraint-induced therapy, is because you've worked really hard to be independent in those small tasks like brushing your teeth. But it might be now that having just a little bit of help from your wife to stabilize something so you begin to use your weaker hand for it.
I thought of something else, and that's dressing. And if I have to put on a dress shirt that requires buttoning, it's difficult, and my wife does have to help. And without two hands, I don't think I could do it. It's hard enough with two hands working, and this left hand just doesn't want to cooperate on the small buttonholes. It's just very difficult. So.
Well, you've identified an area that it sounds like one of your primary goals is to work on dressing and buttoning. So it may not necessarily be the time that you wear the mitt to put your dress shirt on, but it would be a time that you'd want to work with your care partner so that you can do as much of that buttoning task with your weaker hand yourself. So and finally, you had mentioned eating, and that's can be probably one of the most challenging things during this time period. But we actually always try to ask folks to use the mitt while you're eating, and we talk a lot about ways in which we can maybe make that task a little bit easier, so you can get more of the meal accomplished with your weaker hand. And also sometimes make it a little bit more challenging, so that as you progress, you're continuing to practice at a high level. So let me go through and introduce a little bit to this contract. So the purpose of it is to help you gain the most benefit during this time period in which you're participating in the CI therapy program. So one important aspect of the therapy is wearing this mitt on your stronger arm. And by constraining your arm in this way, it'll hopefully remind you to use your weaker arm throughout the day. So during our research studies, we found that using a contract really lay out the times where you should wear the mitt, times you shouldn't, and times that you should ask for help folks in general adhere to really what can be quite a challenging protocol if we just write it down and say these are our mutual goals together. And in this study, where it's so important to work with your care partner, then you help decide these activities together. So at this point, you're saying that you fill in your name, you say you agree to wear the mitt with your stronger on your stronger arm. That would be your right one. And you understand it's to prevent you from using your stronger arm, and that you can try your best to use your more effective arm as much as possible. And that for some activities that you can't do with your weaker arm, you ask your care partner for help. So some examples again that what we had mentioned, activities to do without the mitt on: sleeping, bathing, toileting, stairs, driving. But you, when you talked about some of the things that you do during the day, I think walking the dog was one of them, or walking outside, so that would be another time to take it off. For you in general, walking because you use a walker. Brushing your teeth, in that aspect you can take it off, but it might be something we would put over here that you would say, I'm going to do this activity with my care partner. And then definitely came back as your example with walking, brought up just any time that you're working on the leg exercises from your therapist or balance exercises to take it off. So let's shift over to some of the activities that we could do, that you could do with your with the mitt on. So eating and drinking. Some other examples might be making coffee or meal preparation. Whenever you watch TV and you're using the remote control.
That's difficult to do, by the way.
It is. Your wife might want to help you on that one.
I don't want her to get the remote.
And talking on the phone. If you use an electric razor versus a standard razor, shaving might be helpful.
I do.
Definitely your arm exercises. Using a tablet or an iPad. Checking your email on the computer, any kind of typing. So another example that might be particular to you is, even though you can't walk the dog, maybe brushing the dog or feeding the dog.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
So
those are just some examples.
Pretty normal.
And what we can do, I think what at this point, giving you examples and then sitting down with your wife and then going through just how does your day go, starting from when you get up in the morning to just even the most mundane activities, because each activity, even though it's a routine mundane thing, is an opportunity for practice. So go through and just list those activities and decide together which ones would work best to fit in these categories. And finally, so if we go back, the final category is just activities to do probably with a mitt on, but having help would be maybe fixing meals, cleaning up after meals, whether it's wiping the counter or putting the dishes away. And then say if you went grocery shopping, carrying the groceries in will take two hands, right? If it's a grocery bag, if it's one of the plastic ones, you could probably carry it with a weaker hand. But if you're using your walker, at this point, once you have stability at the kitchen counter, you could probably wear your mitt to put the groceries away. Then at the end, once that you and your care partner have decided which of these categories that you want to put your daily activities in, then we have you sign it, and then your care partner signs it, and then I'll sign it.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Do I do this with my therapist?
So you'll do it, go through it with your care partner, and then when I come and work with you the very first day, we'll go over it together
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
Okay, and that's where I'll sign
Very good. I look forward to that.
it. Okay, thank you. All right.